Hi everyone, Letty here. Today I'm going to share with you a craft with me video where we smashed the rest of a 6x6 paper pad making A2 and mini slimline cards. So one of my crafty goals for 2021 was to use up several small paper pads. I wanted to use up at least 2 per month, and I was filling in my month of April yesterday and I realized that I had only used up one 6x6 paper pad, even though I have done a ton of cards. I made a lot of progress for my donations, but I had not used up both 6x6 paper pads or both small paper pads. So I went ahead and went to my pad collection and I wanted to make Christmas cards. So I took out this Christmas collection by Cartabella, now Echo Park. And it only had 18 sheets. You can see there I kind of scratched out the 48. It used to be 48. I got it from Tuesday morning. And then I also ended up using some of this holographic paper from Joann's and this snowflake punch by EK Tools. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and make some cards using my tape runner as well as my cutting mat from Dollar Tree and also the Barely Art wet glue. So what we'll do is we're going to make 12 mini slimline cards and we're going to make 12 A2 size cards. So for a total of 24 cards total. So let's go ahead and finish these cards on camera. I did go ahead and do one of each set. So this is the very first one. We're starting with the mini slimlines. And basically in this pack, there were 4 pages each of 12 different designs. And I had not used my cut aparts yet. So I ended up having 4 sheets of cut aparts. So I ended up getting 4 of each design. And that's why you'll see 4 of the same one every time. And you'll see here too, like I'm using up the top parts of the 6x6 that had the branding strip with the hole punch. You can see there, I am using it. I'm just adding something right on top of it to cover it up, but I literally used up every single last bit of the paper that I had left of those 18 sheets. So there's my very first design. Again, I'm going to be doing these in sets of 4. That's my second design. You'll see me create this next one. And you can see here again, I'm using some of the branding strips that have the hole punch at the very top. I'm just using them as decorative elements on these cards as well. And you can see here again, all I do is cover up the holes and it's good as new. You can't even tell that this was part of the branding strip. So I really like this process where I get to use up every single bit of the paper that comes in these pads. And this actually was a pad I had started last year during my Dollar Tree tags to cards series that I did. I think it was like a 4-part series or something. I can link the videos down below. I basically took some Dollar Tree tags and turned them into cards. And this was one of the collections that I did for one of the sets. And so I had a few sheets left over. It was kind of too much for me to keep going. So I went ahead and put them aside, but now I went ahead and took them out. Here's my second design set. And you can see here, I used up a lot of little scraps on this one and some leftover sentiments that I had stamped already from a previous collection. I show you here where I am actually using the top part again with the branding strip in the hole, and I'm using them to decorate these mini slimlines. What I found was if I cut them a certain way, I actually can utilize every single bit of that paper and between the A2 and the mini slimlines. And so my cuts that I did on these were just slightly different. And I might have another video coming up shortly where I show you exactly how I cut the paper, and I'll actually do the cutting on screen with you. But I was in a hurry since today's the last day of the month, and I wanted to get this last paper pad smashed to, contribute to my crafty goals. So I went ahead and just kind of prepped everything on camera and figured I would just kind of bring you along for the last bit of it. So you can see these cards come really fast. Here's my last version of the 3 sets of mini slimline cards that I made. 4 of each, so 12 total. I've got 3 designs of A2 size. Here's my first design of the A2 size card. You can see here, these are those 2-inch wide scraps that you'll get whenever you cut down a 5 1/4 by 4-inch card mat from the 6x6 paper pad. All I did was combine 2 different patterns, put them together, and I've basically got voila, a new mat to go on the backs of these cards. And so what I did was I used most of these papers to make full-size card mats, and then the scraps, I made the final additional 4 cards that I had with this last set of cut aparts. So, and then the other thing that I did just to kind of jazz it up a little bit was I used that EK Tools punch, that it's a snowflake, just to add a little bit of extra something to these cards. And because either I love holographic elements, and I thought that they would be just a fun, a fun play on the snowflake, I went ahead and punched these out of some holographic paper that I had found at Joann's. And this was some of the ones that I had purchased recently from one of my big Joann's hauls. I found it there at Joann's, and it's just a really great deal. It's very thick. So here are what my first version of the A2 size cards look like. Very basic, very plain. And then I have these last two sets, which are pretty much the same design, only two different sets of cut aparts. So again, this specific paper pad had 48 total sheets. I only had 18 left over, but of my 18, 4 of the sheets were cut aparts, and there were 6 cut aparts on each of the sheets. So I had 24 total once I cut them all up. So that's what made my 24 cards. I used those for my inspiration, and then I basically just divided my paper up after that to see how many cards I could get to try to maximize those full 24. And I did end up being able to use up all of the 18 sheets with, like I said, no scraps left over. I did use some of the smaller scraps for some of the backs of the sentiments when I was layering, just to kind of even things out. But otherwise, I had no scraps left. Everything got used on these cards in some way, shape, or form. And they came together very quickly, very, very quickly. So I was very excited to go ahead and be able to smash this one paper pad. And now I have more cards from my Christmas donations that'll be coming up soon. So now I'm just basically going to go in and add these last snowflakes to these last set of the, cards, these last 2 sets of the A2 size cards. Super, super quick and easy. You can definitely do this. I didn't do anything fancy here. Everything was just quick and easy, basic. And I really let the paper kind of do all the work for me. The only thing that I kind of brought in was the snowflake punch. There's my second design for my A2. And then the third design is pretty much exactly the same, only again, it has a different cut apart. But you can absolutely do this. In fact, I challenge you, I invite you to bust out a 6x6 paper pad, or even a partial 6x6 paper pad like what I had here. This was 18 sheets, and I still was able to get 24 cards, which I thought was a win. So very, very excited about this. So here is the last version of the A2 size cards. So I have finished all the cards. We ended up with 24 total from the 18 sheets. Let me just do a quick little flip through just so you can kind of see. And of course, there are repeats. You're going to see 4 of every version of the card, as I mentioned, because of how many sheets I had of the cut aparts. But I think it turned out okay. And these are going to be great for my Christmas stash for my donation cards that'll be coming up in a couple of months once I start to send them out to wherever I'm going to be donating them. Really like that one. So again, that was my smashing my 6x6. This was the Cardabella Echo Park Christmas. It used to be Cardabella, now it's Echo Park. For my crafty goals, I had 18 sheets and I smashed them. So thanks for visiting. Hope you subscribe, like this video, follow me on Instagram, and happy crafting.